Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and you are watching the Omega Report for October the 23rd, 2016. Well, it's been an interesting Broketober, and we've seen some actual gaming news come out of it, which is somewhat of a rarity, but it gives us something to ponder regardless. So, without any further ado, let's jump right into it, shall we? Tonight we have, as if anyone cared, Star Wars Battlefront EA Ultimate Edition announced. Washington State Regulators order Valve to stop CSGO gambling. Nintendo stocks drop 6 points after it announces the new Nintendo Switch. And Samsung's DMCA takedown of a GTA 5 mod video on YouTube. And with that, we're all queued up and ready to go. So it's not really a surprise to anyone at this point that Star Wars Battlefront, or I should say Star Wars Battlefront EA, ended up being a colossal disappointment to a lot of people. Featuring no campaign at all and gameplay mechanics that forced a playstyle that disassociated players from their teams in an attempt to create an illusion of battlefield chaos, Star Wars Battlefront EA was dropped by the vast majority of gamers as quickly as it was picked up. As it turns out, forcing people into a game mechanic that makes you feel isolated and alone during a multiplayer-only experience is a bad idea, and I honestly do feel bad that the game flopped as hard as it did. However, its stunning visuals and impressive musical scores are not enough to carry the game for the vast majority of people, myself included. But this doesn't stop EA from trying to force this abysmal donkey turd of a title down our throats. In an official blog post from EA, Star Wars Battlefront Ultimate EA Edition will release sometime this November and will contain all of the content that was contained within the game's Season Pass. And just so we're clear on my stance regarding Season Passes, they are every bit as abysmal and anti-consumer as pre-order games for so many reasons. I could actually do an entire video on the topic of Season Passes alone. Now, a good deal of this is covered in the unbelievably partisan and pro-EA Game Rant article by Kyle Sledge, in which he even goes so far as to state, "Of course, those who have already purchased Star Wars Battlefront can at least take solace in the fact that they contributed to the success of the title, which helped facilitate Electronic Arts' decision to release a sequel in 2017. Not to mention, avid players will also have the advantage over newbies coming into the game when it comes to being familiar with Battlefront's maps, modes, and gameplay." Taking all of this into consideration, one can only surmise that DICE and Electronic Arts will use the cumulative profits for Star Wars Battlefront and its Ultimate Edition to give fans an even more polished and sumptuous offering in the follow-up slated for next year. Of course, fans for the franchise will likely get even more excited about its release if it includes a single-player campaign. Now, to be clear, EA was planning on multiple Star Wars Battlefront EA games when they first obtained the license. Make no mistake, any company that has that license is going to milk it for all it's worth, and you bloody well know it. And it still amazes me, even to this day, how quickly so many of these quote-unquote games journalists cozy up to the feet of companies like EA, Activision, Square Enix, and Konami. It's disgusting, really, that this writer is so blindly pushing forward the idea that this is a good thing for the consumer. And no, it's not a good thing for the consumer. First off, it renders the season passes that so many people ordered that shouldn't have completely meaningless and an utter waste of money. The only reason why this is happening is because, as usual with Ultimate Edition releases, it's one more cog in the machine to squeeze every last penny out of as many consumers as possible before moving on to the next bland and disappointing title. But moving on from that, before this devolves into yet another rant video, we have more rumblings on the CSGO gambling front, and this time it's not about the duplicitous and law-breaking shitlords Team Martin and Pro Syndicate, no. This time it's Washington State deciding to get into a very small tussle with Valve over the whole ordeal. Now, on September 27th, the Washington State Gambling Commission provided Valve with a deadline of Friday, October 14th, in a demand that Valve halt the transfer of Counter-Strike Go skins through the Steam API, stating that it contravenes state gambling laws. And, as if being handled by Valve's customer support team themselves, they, of course, completely missed the deadline. They did, however, respond with a notification that they were working on a response and would have one the following Monday, which, to their credit, they actually did. Now, Valve stated emphatically that they had no business relationship with any of the gambling sites, does not promote them, and does not earn any revenue through them. Now, I don't doubt that Valve is telling the truth, but I'm still very much of an opinion that if you have to rely on technicalities to justify your actions, then you're still doing something either amoral or outright wrong. Now, I'm sure that Valve did not earn any money directly from the gambling of CSGO skins. I do 100% believe that. However, how much money has Valve raked in over the years from selling keys to loot crates for CSGO skins? Are you honestly going to expect me to believe that a company like Valve doesn't keep track of where money is being spent, what it's being spent on, and how it can take advantage of trends to maximize their profits? No, I'm sure Valve knew full well what was going on and what was at least complicit due to the fact that they took no steps to quash these gambling sites until the whole thing with T. Martin, Pro Syndicate, and some others blew up. In which case they acted like any corporation would and took steps to distance themselves from the gambling sites after earning God knows how many millions of dollars that the gambling sites generated by way of loot crate key sales. Now, recently, Nintendo announced their brand new console mobile hybrid called Nintendo Switch. And for the most part, the new device seems to have piqued interest from a good deal of online personalities. However, it seems investors don't really agree with the potential promise of the Nintendo Switch, as evidenced by Nintendo stocks going down by a whopping 6.5%. Now, a single-digit number may not seem like a lot to most people, but that 6.5% equates to approximately $1 billion. Now, according to analysts, this is due to the idea or the perception that the Switch does not appear to innovate enough to appeal to the home markets. It's an interesting development from a new gaming platform that many consider to be a fairly interesting idea. So, Samsung's new cell phone, the Galaxy Note 7, exploded onto the market in a much more literal way than anyone had anticipated. Featuring a battery that would apparently detonate randomly and without apparent reason, multiple recalls have been issued due to the very real danger to people's personal safety. A horrible situation that has the potential to bankrupt Samsung due to lost revenue, refunds, and personal property damage settlements. Now, apparently, adding insult to injury, a Grand Theft Auto 5 mod featuring the Galaxy Note 7's explosive capabilities, it reskins the game's sticky grenades with images of the phone in a rather hilarious little bit of modding by modder Hitman Nico. Now, Samsung did the absolute worst thing you can do, and we've seen this a lot of times in the past, and to be honest, guys, I expected far better for a company with an actual PR department. They issued a DMCA takedown of the YouTube video by Modded Games. Now, to be clear, fair use doctrine does clearly apply here as long as Modded Games video was if it was featuring the product, it would probably have to be unmonetized if it was an original work or anything like that. But this is a mod. This is a video of a mod. So this is one of those things where they wouldn't even have to unmonetize their video. They could leave it monetized because it's featuring, they're using it for illustrative, comedic, and purposes, and it does clearly fall under parody and comedic purposes as far as that goes. Now, this is yet another example of a company making an absolutely idiotic and asshole-ish move, showing just how completely butthurt they actually were over the mod in general. Now, as I said, this is a blatant abuse of the DMCA takedown system and underscores the glaring lack of protection on YouTube that content creators face. Even when a video is still legal and valid under fair use, which is federal law, it means little to some corporations and game developers who have no qualms whatsoever about silencing criticism through an amoral and illegal use of a broken system to which smaller content creators have little to no recourse and absolutely no protection. Samsung ended up with a bad product and did the right thing by recalling it. This mod was nothing more than a light-hearted joke that did no real harm when it comes down to it, and both the mod and the YouTube videos are a clear case of fair use, but Samsung apparently gave zero shits. However, since then it appears that YouTube did comprehend that this was clearly a video that fell under fair use doctrine and have since reinstated the video, and I will be putting a link to that video that you are seeing here down in the video description down below. Now, this in no way excuses Samsung's blatant abuse of the DMCA system, but it is at least some form of victory. So, my congratulations to Modded Games for successfully getting your video reinstated. Now, that's all we have for you on this episode of the Omega Report, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned this week as I'm currently working on reviews for both Battlefield 1 and Civilization 6, as well as the massive flood of new titles is ramping up towards Christmas, so we've really got our work cut out for us over the next few weeks. Also, a special thanks to our Patreon supporters. You make videos like this possible, and I hope to be able to continue them. If you would like to be able to become a Patreon supporter of the channel, the link for that will be down below. In addition to that, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Once again, I am SidAlpha, and I will see you next time. Hi there, boys and girls. Thanks for checking my video out. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit that like button and maybe even that subscribe button. Trust me, it works really good. Don't forget to share with your friends, and if you're interested in following me on Twitter and Facebook, the links for that are in the description down below. I also have a Patreon if you're interested in helping to support the growth of my channel, and the link for that is down below as well. And once again, thanks for watching and supporting my channel, guys. I really appreciate it.